I almost didn't turn the camera on. I was gonna stand in front of the camera and talk to you, and I have the fucking thing on. Okay. Who writes anti-gun laws? People that don't know anything about guns at all, which is proven in the banned and approved list. This gun is banned. This gun, which is safe, which is more dangerous, is approved. Okay? You can have this, but not that. Okay? They take... Well, about the segregation part first. Racial bias in trial. Okay? Here's the problem. You know how you want to get out of jury duty? Well, here's the issue. If you lived in the Deep South during segregation, if you told them you were not a member of the Klan, you were off out of jury duty. Years ago, they would do this. If a white person was on trial for a crime against a minority, they put the Klan on the jury. Klan lets him go. If a black person is on trial for a crime against a white person, put the Klan on the jury. Let the Klan put him in prison. Hugo Black was a defense attorney who specialized in defending white people that murdered black people in cold blood. His most famous case was when he defended a guy that murdered a Catholic priest, a white Catholic priest. The Catholic priest was helping to get minorities their civil rights. He was murdered by a Klansman. Hugo Black, also a Klansman, defended him in court. The entire jury was made up of the Klan, and the guy got off scot-free. Years later, Hugo Black rode that reputation of getting guys off for committing race crime. He rode that reputation to the Senate. When he was in the Senate, he lobbied for lynching. And then he became a Supreme Court justice. Thank you, President Roosevelt. Well, see what happens? You have to stack the chips against the person. Okay? Race law. This is the black neighborhood, this is the white neighborhood, this is the black school, this is the white school. Segregation. Okay? White bathroom, black bathroom, white bus, black, you know. Who wrote race law? Klan members and people that were sponsored by Klan. People that were racist. You weren't going to have Medgar Evers write the race law in Jackson, Mississippi, and you weren't going to have Martin Luther King Jr. write the race law in Birmingham, Alabama, or wherever the hell else. Because in order for you to write race law, you have to have racist people. In order for you to give trial to minorities, you have to have racist, Klan, segregationist, people like that. Okay. Notice the anti-gun movement. The people that write anti-gun laws are either people that don't know anything about guns at all, they don't know one thing about guns, or they are victims of crime, they are relatives of victims of crime. And there are public officials today in power that do not view me any different than they view John Hinckley. They do not view Pete any different than they view John Allen Muhammad. They do not view Tom any differently than they view Charles Whitman. All gun owners are a threat to national security. And they are writing the common sense gun laws. They are writing the gun laws to protect society. Just like the racist people wrote the segregation laws to protect society in their point of view. Fear-mongering. I love fear-mongering. Fear-mongering is the best part. There was a video I saw of a Klansman. He had his hood on, but he had the face cover off. Racist, fanatical, unbelievable, disgusting. This Klansman said they wanted to integrate the schools. Black and white kids in school together. Brown v. Board of Education. This is before that. He said, if you allow the black children and the white children to go to school together, I forget his exact wording, but the message was, they will create a breed of mongrel children. He was telling his audience, ignorant, brain-dead, racist fuckheads, that if you allow black kids and white kids to go to school together, it's going to create, they're going to intermarry, and they're going to create this mongrel race. Totally stupid, totally ignorant, Totally ridiculous, fear-mongering bullshit. Okay? Fear-mongering to the nth degree. Now, when the Supreme Court decided Chicago v. McDonald, for the second time in 2 years, the High Court said, law-abiding citizen can buy a handgun. Excuse me. Some public officials in Chicago were saying, now that the Supreme Court has made the mistake of allowing handguns into our city, the people are going to kill each other in the street and it's going to be like the Wild West again. Yes, that's right. The people of Chicago wanted to kill each other. So because they wanted to kill each other, they hired some of the highest priced lawyers in the country. They spent over 2 years suing in federal court. When they finally won their case, they're going to come into your city, they're going to register handguns, and they're going to go kill each other in the street now. The same message, evil, stupid, fear-mongering, let's panic, let's start a nationwide panic, because you can't get your message across. Another thing about Chicago, they said, no, something about that. So that was the issue. This Klansman says, if you allow minorities and white people to go to school together, they're going to have a mongrel race of inferior people. He got that from Adolf Hitler. That was Hitler's idea. Yes, it was. And the people of Chicago were saying, now that the Supreme Court made the mistake of allowing handguns into the city, they're going to be killing each other in the streets, like the Old West again. Garbage. Absolute garbage. Now, segregation is public figures. Okay. Segregation is figures. When the Supreme Court voted on Brown v. Board of Education, which meant public school, anybody can go there. Doesn't matter what color, religion. If you are a child in this district, you can go to this public school. And they cannot say, well, your skin is too dark, or I don't like that thing in your head, or what language was that you were speaking to your mother? No. Your public school, public children, they go there. Doesn't matter what color they are, they go there. You got a problem with the tough shit. And that was a good law, by the way, the Supreme Court wrote for us. I went to school with people of every race you could think of. Didn't bother me one bit. So my best friends are blacks, and my best friends are Jews. So I have a couple best friends that are Muslims. Doesn't bother me. It bothers you because you're an ignorant fuck, but it doesn't bother me. We had a politician, governor. I'm gonna write the guy's name here. I gotta look it up. I'm gonna write his name in the bubble. Bloop. When the Supreme Court said integrate the schools, he said no. National Guard. My cousin is an Army National Guard officer. Here's how National Guard works. The National Guard is the Army. They go to Army training, basic training, or officer candidate school. They are the Army. During peacetime, they are controlled by the governor. When the war comes, they're controlled by the president. So the governor will say, there was a flood. You, Army National Guard, go there and rescue flood victims. The president will say, we were bombed last night. Go over, you, the National Guard, go over there and fight that war. That's how it happens. The president outranks the governor. This governor, and I would have disobeyed this order. The governor said, I'm not going to have my states integrated, blah, 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 I'm a racist, Heil Klan. The governor told his troops, his National Guard troops, to stand in front of the school and stop minority kids from coming in. President Eisenhower, hold on, let me check the time again. I know I'm freaking out here. I got time. President Eisenhower told the National Guard, remember, think of the governor as the colonel. Think of the president as the general. The colonel gives you an order, the general gives you an order. You will obey the general, ignore the colonel, because the general is higher. Eisenhower was literally a general. Eisenhower told the National Guard, you, go back to your barracks right now. Go back to the base. We don't get off the school, go back to the base. Governor is below the president. They obey the president. Then the President Eisenhower said, you, 101st Airborne, escort the black children into the school and protect them from the Klan or this governor, racist bastard, protect them. Okay? You had the President of the United States and the governor of Arkansas fighting over a Supreme Court order. And let me tell you something right now. If I was on the Supreme Court and that governor disobeyed my ruling, oh, he would be in jail. I'd throw his ass in jail. Well, and that governor ended up shutting down Arkansas for 1 whole year because he didn't want integration. See, Supreme Court says integrate the schools. Governor says no. Blatant obstruction of Supreme Court justice. Now, the anti-gun people, they tried to do a little thing, although they were not as successful. They didn't have the nerve that this nutball had. When Chicago was decided in the Supreme Court, they said, well, we still can't have a gun. You can have a handgun in my city. My city is protected by our own laws. And they said, okay, maybe you can have one handgun. And they said, okay, you know what? Fine, we'll create a system so you can buy a handgun. They didn't have the nerve to do what this guy did with the National Guard and all the bull crap. Are you noticing a pattern here? The 10th Amendment. Pro-gun rights people, when the federal government goes anti-gun, the state pro-gun people say 10th Amendment, we'll write our own gun laws. When the federal government goes pro-gun, like in 2004, the state officials say 10th Amendment, we'll write our own laws. And the segregationists, some people said, we don't have a problem with other races and other cultures. We're going to use our 10th Amendment to say we don't want race law. Other guys like, well, we'll use our 10th Amendment to say we want race law. The 10th Amendment is the sharpest double-edged sword in our Constitution. Okay, I'm going to kill it now and I'm going to do a final